spend such a huge percentage of our waking hours at work. And yet, time and time again, we hear about the huge percentage of people that are unhappy. People are disconnected, disengaged. 20 to 30%, they say, are actually miserable in their jobs. The rest of them are just blasé. And that means we don't feel joy and we don't feel energy in what we do for a living. And because that's such a huge percentage of our time, I think that impacts the rest of the world. I mean, as we go out into society and we interact with other people, we bring that with us. When you walk through the door at home and address your children or speak to your friends and family, you are bringing that disconnectedness, that unsettled feeling with you. And so I think it's a bigger problem. I think there's a cost to being unhappy at work that goes wider than just the productivity that we know is, say, lost for unhappy employees. In my 20s, I came out of university not really knowing what I wanted to do. And so I did what everybody does, and I went looking for a good job that would pay me well. And my life sort of got set on this autopilot, if you will. I remember every year my boss would, at the end of the year say, "What's your 5-year plan?" And I used to think, I don't have a 5-day plan. Like, I really hadn't planned my life that way. I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I was just sort of going with the flow and going along with the job. And then eventually, the job gets busy and life gets busy, and you stop thinking about what it is you really, really want, or at least I did. And it wasn't until my job got really, really uncomfortable for me. I felt really disconnected, disengaged, unhappy. I was like, well, what am I doing? I'd be sitting in a meeting on a Monday morning, 9 a.m. after a beautiful weekend, fully rested, good night's sleep, and I'd be yawning in a meeting. I'm like, why am I tired? It was really that I wasn't connected with what I was doing. And until it became really, really sort of uncomfortable for me, I didn't have that wake-up call. And until one day, I was literally standing in my kitchen, deciding what to do. Big changes were coming in my company, and I thought, what does this mean for me? And it hit me that it was time to go. I needed to go, which was a very freeing thought and petrifying at the same time, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just knew I couldn't stay where I was. And once that sort of hit home, I couldn't stay. It was like I had no choice. I had to go. The aha moment looks so different for different people. I've spent the last 2 years interviewing dozens and dozens of people who've been brave enough to walk away from otherwise successful, lucrative careers in order to find more passion or more meaning in their work. And everyone sort of came to that time, that aha, differently. Some people had life-threatening brain bleeds or car accidents or skiing accidents that were what is my life all about? And for other people, they really just started to feel trapped. Trapped enough. I think once you get really, really clear on what your motivation is for leaving, it's a lot easier to leave. Once you realize you need that freedom or you want to have a greater purpose, it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to leave. For me, the joy is encouraging people to actually come on this journey. I think we get stuck on this treadmill of life and it gets busy and we don't think we have time to plan for a future that's more inspired and more energized. People can make livings that are better aligned with the life they want to live. It's possible. It takes some work and some energy, but it's possible. I've met all sorts of people doing amazing, wonderful things because they chose to go on that journey. I started meeting these ordinary people that were doing extraordinary things. I met an electrical engineer who ended up becoming a horse therapist. I met someone who was a factory worker and now entertains thousands and thousands of people with hypnosis. He gets paid 5 figures an hour to make people laugh. I met a lawyer who left law behind and became an inspiration for athletes. She teaches mental performance for athletes. I mean, ordinary people with ordinary jobs, good jobs, lucrative, successful jobs that felt they needed more connection, more meaning, more purpose in their lives, and they dared to leave the big salary and the benefits and everything behind in order to follow that passion. And they created some really incredible, designed really incredible lives for themselves. I don't want to tell people that their perception is wrong at all, but I do want people to say, look, we view the world from our own circumstances, our own experiences. We've been in one company for 20 years or 30 years. Of course, the way we look at our opportunities is going to be different than if we've been out in the world looking at what's available. And it wasn't until I met all of these people doing these amazing things that I was like, you get paid to do that? Like, that is crazy. I never would have thought that. Back in the corporate world, I didn't know that you could get paid to do that. And so it started like widening my perspective of, wait a second, I could actually design a job for myself, design a career for myself that actually is the way I want to live, the way I want to be, and what impact I want to have on the world.